Watauga Arts Council with your host, Cherry Johnson, serving arts in Watauga County for more than 30 years.
Hi, I'm Cherry Johnson, and I want to introduce you to one of our partners. Now, this partner's not here in Watauga County, but she comes to Watauga County a lot. She's actually, I guess you're from Asheville?
Asheville,
yeah.
Yes.
And this is Linda LaBelle. Linda is a staff member for Handmade in America. And that's how I got to know her anyway. Linda does a lot of things. And really. And one of the ways that, well, how I got to know Linda was she was coordinating or running a whole bunch of meetings with some very awesome women. And let's talk about why they're awesome.
Well, it's the AW program, or the Appalachian Women Entrepreneurship Program. It's for female members of Handmade in America. We're a 20-year-old nonprofit out of Asheville. And all of the women are very good at what they do, whether they're artists or craftswomen. They could be a woman wanting to start a business, making a transition, dreaming of starting a business, already have a business, but they need more business skills. And so that's what we do. I travel to 7 counties running 8 meetings a month. And the women just, make great strides, and I get to hear their success stories, and it's very exciting.
And it's more than a meeting, too, because you have little mini work sessions in each one of them, don't you? Don't you have topics for each one?
Yes, each meeting actually has a topic, and how we come about the topics is that I ask the women what they want. And each community of women might have different needs.
Right.
And so that's, I think, it keeps a lively meeting. It gives them ownership in the meeting because it's what they need. So, for instance, yesterday I was just down in Dillsboro, and we did a meeting on how to get your business on TripAdvisor.
Okay.
Right?
That's interesting.
I know, right? So, and it always keeps me on my toes because I have to,
You have to go learn it.
I have to go learn it. Today we have a meeting here at the Watauga Arts Council Blue Ridge Art Space, and actually one of my facilitators, Dawn Chitwood, will be doing it, and it's on how to craft a blog.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Which is becoming a bigger and bigger deal.
It is. It's blogging, especially professional blogging, as opposed to personal blogging, or blogging for business, is getting bigger and bigger.
Wow. Now, we partner with them because we host those meetings every month. And then in addition, which, by the way, let's go back and say they're on the fourth Thursday.
First Thursday of every month.
Fourth Thursday.
Yes.
Okay. Of every month at 1 o'clock.
From 1 to 3. Yes, from 1 to 3.
And they're free the first time you attend.
Exactly.
And then after that, you can join.
Join a Handmade, and the lowest level of membership would be $50
Okay.
for a year.
For all those meetings and all the other stuff,
all
too.
the other benefits of membership in Handmade, yes.
Okay, and then another way that we partner with Linda and Handmade in America is Watauga County Economic Development Commission has been helping us sponsor some workshops for artists on that same kind of idea of helping them to become more successful financially, because we see artists as entrepreneurs, and this is a very entrepreneurial community, very small business focused. Well, that's definitely what we're talking about. And so we partnered with Handmade in America, and this is the second time we've done this?
Yeah, we did it last year, and we're doing it this year with you.
And we brought in 4 or 5 workshops that are targeted, that we select based on what we see as the needs and what we've polled other people to get for the needs. So this time around, we're doing, let's see, we did one on two-parter on social media.
For business, social media for business,
And then there's one on digital camera.
Learning to love your digital camera.
And you've already missed it by the time you see that. They've already missed it by now. Sorry, next time. And that's been really popular. We're getting a lot of people signing up for that one. Last time we did one on how to price your work. We've done it on marketing things. We've done it on a big variety of topics. Linda's going to be doing one. I think it's on what date was that?
It's April. I'm sorry, I don't have the date off the top of my head, but it's in April. You can contact Cherry.
Yeah, it's at the end of the month.
Yes, and it's on artist portfolios.
Which digital and otherwise?
Digital and otherwise. We'll talk about both, mainly the digital portfolio, because that's the way it's going today.
Right.
You don't need to carry a portfolio case
or
around with you anymore,
or mail whatever.
it. They really want to see something, a beautifully done portfolio online.
Well, in a small scale, the Arts Council does that already, because like when our artists are applying for gallery exhibitions, for example, we have an online application that they can fill out, or they can send it to us in paper, but they send us digital images. We're not asking them for slides anymore. There was a time When it was slides or photographs.
Or a CD, then you had to mail in a CD. That doesn't exist anymore.
And no more returning the CD to the artist and all that stuff, so, which was always a hassle. So digital is becoming the wave of the future, and so you're showing them how to do that.
Exactly, exactly.
Now, do you know the April topic for the all meeting yet?
Yes, it's going to be Canva. It's a very simple to use design program, fantastic program. It's free to download, and you can create images for your Facebook page, your Instagram feed. You could create business cards, postcards. Flyers, whatever you want, but it's just a wonderful, it's sort of, if you don't want to learn Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign, you find those difficult, Canva is the answer to your graphic needs.
That's great. I may come sit in on that one.
It's going to be a fun one.
But Linda does so many different things. Now, you also, I said you do a lot of other things. Let's talk about Linda for a minute.
Okay.
You own a business.
I do. I own an online business, The Yarn Tree. I sell fine fiber, or natural fibers, fine yarns, and natural dyes. Okay, and you have a website? Yes, it's www.theyarntree.com.
Okay, and you also have a Facebook page, I've seen that, and Pinterest, and all of these other things. She taught the social media class. What do you expect?
I love social media.
Yeah, Twitter and Pinterest, all those different things. But then also, you have traveled the world, and let's talk about why you did that.
Well, I've been very fortunate. I have a small organization called Stories of Hope. I travel around the world, and I teach a craft-based education to people in need to help lift them out of poverty. And I started it because in 2006, I wrote a book. I was approached by Random House Pottercraft, and while it was a beautiful book and it was an amazing experience, it was also one of the most selfish experiences of my life, because everything was focused on the book, getting the book written and the photographs. I traveled all over the country and photographed and interviewed hand dyers, and worked with my students from my facility in Brooklyn to write the patterns, and so it was very hands-on, very involved book. And then when it came out, I just felt like I was so selfish for that period of time. I needed to give back in a different way, and I had always wanted to travel and teach. I didn't know quite, there's no job out there to do what I do. I had to kind of invent it. So I first partnered with a nonprofit, did a trip with them to Mexico, and then just let the word get out there that I was looking to do this. And I've been so fortunate. I've worked in Mexico several times with the same group of 10 master artisans. Often I'll bring back to a culture techniques that they've lost due to war, strife, time, the younger people leaving the villages, gentrification, whatever. And twice now I've been invited by the U.S. embassies, once in Kazakhstan and once in Turkmenistan, to work in their heritage program.
Wow.
So that was pretty cool.
How neat. And the cool thing about it, if I'm reading what you've told me, and she and I've chatted on several occasions, is that you've kind of been self-employed pretty much all of your life for the most part.
Yeah. I mean, I take jobs periodically. Obviously, I have this job with Handmade, but since I was very young, I have been a freelancer, and I've worked in many facets of the garment industry. I worked as a costume designer, again in kind of a particular niche where I costumed the sculptures and films of artists as opposed to traditional Hollywood or something like that.
So where did Linda start? Where did all this begin? I'm a little bit lost.
Well, I grew up, I mean, my dad was a painter, and both my parents were entrepreneurs. They each had a small business, and I think that's what
it was bred into
It was bred into me. And I don't know any other way to work. I mean, I do work best on my own. I've learned that, and I love the arts, and I'm always searching for something else. So I have what I say the mindset of a designer. I want to know how to make it, how it's done, figure it all out, and then I can move on to the next thing. So I really work more as a designer as opposed to, say, a production artist.
Okay. Right? Now, when you went to school, what did you go
to
school in?
I studied fine arts and graphic arts, and then I got a degree in textile design.
So you didn't take any business degree?
Well, I was really lucky. I mean, I did part of my studies in LA, and the school I went to there, actually we had to take business.
That's unusual.
It's unusual. Today that's changed. I mean, a lot of the schools are now offering entrepreneurship programs within their schools.
Finally.
But they're not requirements.
Yeah.
And I think that they should be requirements. For instance, I was just at a school and they've got a wonderful textile program, but none of the students understood the cost of what they were making. You know, the materials are just there. The machinery is just there. They don't understand that when they leave school, they have to buy that equipment, they have to buy the materials, but there was no one saying, okay, if you're going to make X, how much is this going to cost you?
Yeah. And how do you afford a big purchase like that?
How do you get the machinery? So students are still coming out of art schools, craft schools, without that entrepreneurial or business knowledge that they really need.
I think you're right, and that's one thing that this Arts Council is very focused on, is helping artists to become more successful. So that includes not just the AWE program, which is fantastic. We offer them opportunities to exhibit their work and that kind of thing. But we also offer a whole series. The workshops we've done with you are part of that
it's part
series.
Of what you're doing, yes.
But it's the business of art. And the idea is, again, like you're doing with AWE, is to get feedback from the artists about what am I needing, and then find workshops that will meet that need. Whether it is how to negotiate a contract, how to deal with your taxes, how to deal with your bookkeeping, whatever it is that an artist is struggling with, that's what we're hoping to do, because like we're saying, most of them have little or no training in that, beyond the school of hard knocks, so.
No, it's true. And I think they're all, I always say this, especially for my AWE women, they're great craftswomen. But they're terrible business women.
Absolutely.
And so,
I see that all the time.
Yep. And we've got to lift them out because that gives them ownership, it gives them strength, it gives them confidence. And you see that, you see them change and you see them become more confident.
Well, and they're just successful.
Yeah.
That makes such a difference. The starving artist thing is a kind of a passé cliche, in my opinion.
And it's not fun. Believe me, I've been there.
Well, I went to school and my first degree was in art, and you had a choice. You could be a teacher or you could be a starving artist. That was pretty much the choices. And that's
true.
Today there are more options, but it just really, that needs to be struck out of our entire vocabulary, because I really feel like, number one, it's not a good thing. Starving is not pleasant.
No.
But number two, it doesn't mean that if you're an artist that you have to starve.
Right, exactly.
You can be a successful, you can support yourself as an artist, but you have to go about it the right way.
Yes, and you do have to make some sacrifices. It's
Yes,
not
you do.
like going into a corporate job where you've got all the benefits.
Right.
When you're a small business person, you're wearing every single hat. And you have to understand that. And you have to understand then how to, structure your time. It's really important to be able to do that well, and so that you don't feel so pressured.
Right.
And you have to understand that even if it's art or craft, it's a business.
Yes.
It's still a business.
Right. And that's hard for some of them to accept.
Very, very, very hard. Yeah. They really don't want to hear that from me.
Well, they purposely chose not to go into business. Now they find themselves backwards into business.
Into business, yeah. So.
But it's true, and that's one thing that Watauga County and this all of Western North Carolina, but particularly up in this area, we've made a real emphasis. I know economic development folks have, and the general community, the chambers and all that, are making a big emphasis on small business, because that is what really drives this community's economy. Obviously, tourism has a big factor in that, and the arts are a big part of the tourism. But all of that is, we don't have a lot of big industries sitting around pumping smoke into our atmosphere. Instead, we have a lot of small businesses, and our artists deserve and should be a big part of that climate.
Yeah. And small business is what is the backbone of the United States. It's the backbone of America. And I find that Western North Carolina has so much support for small business. It's just amazing to me. If they reach out for it, it's there.
Right.
And everybody that's watching this, reach out for it.
Well, Handmade has been around, how long
20
has it
years
been?
this year.
Wow, it's been a while. Okay, and I think the whole original concept of Handmade was to enable artists to make a living with their craft.
Exactly. Our motto is that Handmade in America builds economy through craft.
And they got a whole lot of grants, I know up front at least, from economic resources for that purpose.
Exactly, yeah. We've worked with the NEA, the USDA, Wingate, Tides, I can go on and on. We've been very fortunate. Even as grants are drying up, we are still being supported by grants. We've also had to find an income stream, as every single organization has to do today. We can't just depend on grants.
Exactly. And these days grants are getting scarcer and scarcer and more specified into certain niches and that kind of thing. So it goes down to show that, it's going to take a little hard elbow grease, but you can do it.
You can do it. You can do it.
And so we're offering the tools. That's what
it's
our
exactly
goal is.
it. Yeah. And so please come to a meeting, always the fourth Thursday of the month, 1 to 3 at the Watauga Arts Council Blue Ridge Art Space. The first meeting is free, and I would love to see any woman entrepreneur want to be at our meeting.
And
the craft lab, yes. So the craft labs, which Cherry did mention earlier, are different. They're open to men and women, members and non-members of Handmade in America. They can be free or low cost depending on the location. And they are 2-hour workshops. Sometimes I teach them, but I often send out facilitators who are specialists in their field. So it can be, making your way through the ethical quagmire, or writing a contract, or social media for business, which we just did, on and on. Just wonderful, wonderful workshops that will help people
and they're
grow.
not, you are obviously geared toward craft, which is visual art.
Right.
But
they're
these are applicable to everything.
They're applicable to all parts of business. And I like having other businesses at the table because it creates a whole new conversation, a much more interesting conversation. So whether you have a nail salon, or you're a blacksmith, it's still
or
it's
you're
business.
A musician.
Or you're a musician, it's business. Business is business. Yeah. And then we're doing, I want to just mention one more thing that we're doing that's brand new, is a series of what we're calling extended workshops. So these could be take place over 3 or 4 sessions. Each session could be 3 to 4 hours long.
Right.
We're just finishing one up in Asheville now on how to build your own WordPress website.
Cool.
Which has been very successful. We're doing one in Cherokee starting on April 14th on photography. So it's a 3-part photography. And the first one is going to be really fun. We're going to teach people how to use their digital camera, their point and shoot, not their big fancy one, but a little point and shoot, their smartphone or their tablet. How to take great pictures of your product, and how to build 3 points of light out of things you'd find around your house.
That is fantastic. Because that's the tools we're really using.
Exactly. That's what everybody's using. And not everybody can afford a big fancy schmancy DSLR camera.
Or wants to carry it around.
Or wants to carry it around. So if you can learn how to use your cell phone to take a great picture, you're all set.
Now, don't you have a conference coming up?
We do. We have a very important conference coming up. Thank you for asking. It's May 13. It's the AW Conference, the Appalachian Women Entrepreneur Conference. This is our 4th year, I believe, putting it on, my 3rd. And it's going to be at the Morris Hellenic Cultural Center in Asheville, May 13th from 8 a.m. until about 6:30 p.m. Registration for all members, Handmade members, is free, and for the public, women, it's only $15. And you can go to our website, handmadeinamerica.org, and sign up. We have a few spots left. But it's the conference theme this year is micro business in the 21st century.
Wow.
And we've got wonderful breakout consultants. We have a lawyer who will talk to you, a woman to talk to you about profitability, an emerging award-winning designer will talk about her early years. Dorothy Clark is our keynote speaker. An amazing woman who's a performer. She had a business doing tax consulting. She's studying to become a minister, and just this dynamic woman who's going to be our keynote speaker.
All of us are starting to feel overwhelmed with all these things people
are
doing.
And lunch is free.
Well, and you mentioned something I want to bring back up before we close, and that is that the benefits of being an all member. Because she just said that conference is free if you're an all member. Also, I should mention that the workshops that we partner in are also free to all members. Now, other folks will pay, depending on whether you're an Arts Council member or not. There's a different rate for each. But if you are an all member, it's free.
It's free, yeah.
And so your $50, doesn't take too long to get that back and more.
And more, because we also only for the all members, we exhibit twice a year at the I-26 West Welcome Center. The show is up for 6 months at a time. While they cannot sell from there, we put all the contact information necessary so pieces do sell. And 280,000 visitors pass through that Welcome Center every year. So a lot of people get to see your work. It's amazing. Yeah.
You build a name for yourself.
Yes, exactly. And so we put up beautiful little name cards with your contact info. We have a sheet with our contact info so people can get hold of us. We do our Cool Craft Market, and again, for all members and Handmade members, it's a discounted rate for the tables for the market.
Right.
We put out the notice to the members first before the general public.
Yeah.
So.
So you treat them like special characters.
VIPs.
VIPs. That's what I was trying to think of. VIPs.
VIPs.
So, well, I hope that you realize just how much you're doing for so many people.
Oh, well, thank you,
because
Sherry.
it's really impressive. Everything that's happening, you know, through not just through Handmade, but also your own your mission and the whole thing you're doing with your worldwide stuff. I mean, it's all just so impressive. So I'm very impressed. I'm so glad I got to know you.
Well, thank you.
And I'm hoping that you're going to come get to know her. I encourage you to do that. You can sign up for the portfolio workshop, even if you are not interested in becoming an all member.
Exactly.
You can still do that workshop. Or if you're a male and you don't qualify by gender to be in that particular group, then you can still be in that workshop. And so there's a lot of opportunities. So come and get involved with that. Our website has a lot of this information on it and links to other information. Please check it. It's watauga-arts.org. We'll be seeing you there.
Thank you.
Watauga Arts Council with your host, Cherry Johnson, serving arts in Watauga County for more than 30 years.